Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the final match of the round of 16 for the 4K Mania World Cup. We are ending this party with Mexico versus Venezuela in the losers bracket. My name is Dynascape, and speaking of parties, I've got another rocker in the house tonight. Sunapple is joining me today in the booth. Sunapple, how we doing?
Hello, hello, hello. I'm ready to party rock in the house tonight, actually. Especially with these two teams here, Venezuela and Mexico. Venezuela being seed 32, and Mexico, I believe, seed like 16 or something. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yep, exactly. Seed 16. They had a pretty close match against UK in the winners bracket. Unfortunately, fell 3-5. Gonna see if they can change things up over here. Venezuela, of course, the outside contender, seed 32. They're gonna have to see. Mexico's a really tough nut to crack, so they have a lot to do before they can even think about getting to that match point.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, we saw Mexico play really well last week against the UK. Just barely not making it out of the winners bracket stage against that team. But they played really well. They had really close matches throughout everything. They had a lot of opportunities to be able to take multiple points, and I feel like they're going to be able to basically play a lot better and play a bit more optimally, especially in this match. Just coming out of that loss, maybe coming in, having some more energy, wanting to win this match a lot more.
Yeah, one thing I like about Team Mexico is their versatility. Just looking at it on paper, I thought that really they'd just be kind of choosing rice maps, and they have some very good act players in that regard with Plutus, Envy, and Darkchizer. However, in their match against UK, they actually transitioned into playing some of the LN maps and even picking Hybrid 1 once those LN picks were exhausted. So they've got a lot of tricks up their sleeves. I think they can really go anywhere in the map pool. Venezuela, I think, could probably pick something like SV. I don't know if they want to protect it, but I do think that it is a good idea to probably get one of those in there. Other than that, I can see them picking Rice for the most part. They do have a very, very physical team as well with Yuka, Fangirl, and Shiesty.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Something in the rice would be interesting, but I feel like this versatility from Mexico, as you were saying, is really, really good. And it's actually looking like, I believe this is Venezuela will be protecting LN2, so we will be seeing Owl Infinity here as the protect.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, I think, for Venezuela. They did end up picking LN3 against South Korea last week as their first choice. However, obviously against South Korea didn't work out too well. Maybe they can do a little bit better against Mexico, because honestly, Venezuela put up some pretty scary scores in the round of 32. Venezuela, Mexico actually opting to protect Hybrid 1. That's gotta be bad for me. I'm very excited to see that map's bit of a banger, and it's got a lot in the map itself.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and it is really interesting to see a hybrid actually being protect, since I feel like there's only a handful of teams who actually opt to ever protect a hybrid, since they are really 50-50 for teams. Generally, they don't really pick them, especially as their first few maps. But it is interesting to see that they are very confident, especially on that hybrid one. Maybe it shows that they really want to play in that hybrid pool or something. But now we will be seeing the bans, and Mexico is going to opt to ban that LN3, most likely just off of that protect on AO Infinity. Maybe they feel really comfortable, or they know Venezuela feels really comfortable on that LN. Maybe just wanting to take away one of their options, just trying to keep as little chances for them to take any points as possible here. Though, with that being said, they still do have two of the very difficult LNs here, Owl Infinity and Future Eve, especially Future Eve. But now it's going to be Venezuela's ban, and they will be opting to ban SV2.
Yeah, SV2 gone complex. We've seen time and time again throughout this weekend SV2 being banned. It is the harder SV, it's more memory focused compared to Mr. Scratchman. So no surprise there when comparing the two. And just in general, SVs are pretty, I wouldn't say disliked, but teams don't want to put the time in to learn 2 maps every week, so it's just it's gonna happen eventually. You even
Yeah,
see
at
some of
least
the
there's
teams from players from Team Mexico saying W ban.
yeah, at least there aren't as many double bans on SVs this week. We've seen Mr. Scratchman a lot actually. But with that being said, we will actually be going into Hybrid 3 for Venezuela. Amigdata, I learned to say the name. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see since I believe this is one of the first few times that Hybrid's actually been picked first, surprisingly.
Yeah, not too many times. In general, in the scope of MWC, do we see Hybrid picked first, and we even have Hybrid 1 as a backup for Team Mexico because they did protect that. So gonna be seeing a lot of hybrids here, a bit of a change of pace than from what we usually see in tournaments where teams like to split off into Rice or LN specifically, at least in the early game. We are gonna see Venezuela pick Hybrid 3, and they probably have a good reason for it.
Yeah, most likely, but it is kind of scary seeing this for Mexico, or picking this against Mexico, because as you were saying, this team is very versatile, and especially because every single one of their players generally are actually able to play both LN and Rice, so being able to combine those together is something that hybrids are really, really good for this team, for this Mexican team to be for.
And it's pretty interesting too. I think this is the first time we've seen Narutoru in this lineup. Last week against UK, basically for anything LN or hybrid affiliated, we had Shadow GM, but they are going to sub out there. And also Plutes is going to sub out for Darkchizer. Usually we see them on the LNs and hybrids as well. Outside of Venezuela, we've got Evo, Konamp, and Yuko Fangirl. Nothing really surprising there. That's kind of their roles in this matchup. Evo and Yuko Fangirl probably going to be seen on pretty much every map that's going to be played in this match.
Yeah, I mean, they really are the core of this roster right now. I believe Venezuela is actually one of the smaller rosters, correct? Or am I wrong? I believe they only have 4 players, right?
Last year they failed to qualify with 4 players, I believe, but then this year they have 6. They finally have a full squad of 6, and they squeezed in with C32.
I see. Well, with that being said, it's looking like just starting us off, Mexico will have a slight lead, but we have just seen the first few LNs. We did see Evo take a few 200s, I believe, 1 or 2, but really the lead is flickering back and forth. So there's not much that can be said, especially in this intro.
And actually, before everyone gets to the combo cap, Yuko Fangirl is going to take that first miss. Probably the best place to miss if you are going to do it. So lead not too large for Mexico, looking at about 6,000 points. So it's not only the miss from Yuko Fangirl, but rather the accuracy difference going on right now. We see Konamp with a 99.6, Evo with a 99.3. Both of them definitely lower than their counterparts on the Mexican team.
Yeah, and that accuracy difference is really doing a lot. I think even without that miss from Yuko Fangirl, they most likely would still have the accuracy advantage, especially with this basically like 992, 993 pace from Envy, and another miss comes out from Yuko Fangirl, and it's halfway through the map. There's still quite a few sections where Mexico can miss, but they will need to take multiple very dirty breaks if this lead is going to swap over to the Venezuelan team.
Yeah, Yuko Fangirl surprisingly taking 2 breaks in total, trying to get back up to 400 combo. Evo and Konamp are hanging by a thread right now, 99.1 and 99.4 off of them. It's very, very scary when you're in those accuracies holding an FC, because I feel like at that point it's where you aren't so super confident with the map and you can break it just about any time. Envy, Narutoru, and Darkchizer doing great. This is a wonderful team score from them.
Yeah, this Mexican team score is absolutely insane. It's really hard to beat, especially for some of these already seeded teams. Envo taking a break, losing out on the FC. Konamp is the only FC on Venezuela for now, but as I say that, they do take a break, so no FCs on the board for Venezuela. And what looks to be, unless something happens in the ending, Mexico will be triple FCing, but nope, never mind. I cursed them. Envy taking a break at the last minute. But either
Yep.
way, Mexico will be taking this point.
Double curse from you, Sun Apple. Hopefully, we won't get any more for the rest of this match. Really good FCs for Naruto and Dark Chaser. 986 and 987, and Envy lagging just a bit behind with a 980, almost 5. Even with those two misses, very, very good team score. It definitely shows why they are a mid seed in this tournament. Venezuela pretty good as well. Edvo and you, Fangirl, picking up two slider breaks each around. Both of them 963s, and Konam just a bit above with a 967.
Yep, and it's looking like we will be going to SB1 actually. An interesting pick. This will be Mexico's pick, so I am honestly interested. I have no clue how good Mexico is on the SV since I'm not sure whether they played them last week.
I want to say they did play OMG against United Kingdom. I'm not sure what happened during the match. All I know is that they did play it, and for that team we had Shadow GM, Envy, and Plutus come in. So I think that's gonna be what's going on here. I think Venezuela is gonna see Shizd as they did play the SV qualifier, and then Yuko, Fangirl, and Edvo are gonna stay in the players.
Yeah, and it does look like they actually did quite well. This Mexican team did quite well on the SVs last week, so I actually think this is quite a good pick. Maybe just opting for something that's a bit more unconventional, something that you know that Venezuela isn't too great at, especially considering just how difficult these SVs can be for these lower seeded teams if they haven't played them all too much.
Oh yeah, these SVs have been pretty tricky. I mean, we saw in this last match that you casted, Poland versus Germany. Poland had, what, a triple FC, and it was something like a 96, 97, 97, which is kind of crazy to think about. So pretty easy to FC if you put in the time and effort, but still very hard to act. That's supplemented by the fact that it is OD 7.5.
Yeah, that is definitely true. It is really important that these players have actually played the map at least a few times just to be able to get this timing down, especially because there's some teleports, some stutters that can trip some people up, especially if you don't know the song specifically, or any like Getty maps in general.
That's super true. I think one of the standout sections I have in mind is about like a third or the halfway in, where it turns into a slow jam with some LNs, and then immediately within a measure goes straight into a teleport fast jam. That's gonna be one to watch out for. I'll try to point it out. We have LT making sure that everything stays clean in the lobby.
Yeah, we're not trying to have anything bad happen in the lobby, but it looks like the Mexican team now has their 3. And we are just waiting on the last Venezuelan player to play right now.
Yep, and again, as I said, at least in the qualifiers, Shizd did play for them. Gonna have to see if they come out here or if anyone else had practiced this in place of them.
Yep, but I mean, honestly, it looks like Flute is going to be the one playing in for Venezuela, so we should be getting ready soon, judging off of that we have everybody. But after this, it'll be interesting to see what Venezuela plays, since I believe I'm not sure what they're going to opt for. Maybe something to the rice field. I know they did all right on Amygdala or Amygdata, I should say. I always get them mixed up. So maybe something in rice, maybe something in LN. Just trying to play. I guess just trying to stay on one side of the map pool. Just trying to see what you're better at.
Yeah, I mean, Venezuela kind of looking like a wild card right now. Mexico, honestly, too, picking SP1 out of nowhere. They maybe had a good plan. Maybe they sussed out that Venezuela would ban SP2 and practice SP1. But here we go, LS Plus making their debut in MWC, at least in match play. This is their first appearance. Gonna have to see what they can do in this SP pick.
Yep, and starting off, our second pick is going to be Mr. Scratchman. This is Mexico's pick, and It will be interesting to see how well all these players have practiced it. I am interested in seeing how LS Plus plays this, since I'm not sure how much they practiced it. And judging off of those first 100, I don't think they've played it all that much, especially considering looking at the Mexican squad. Everyone above that 9.7 almost.
Yeah, it's almost looking unfortunate for Plus. It seems like they don't have a grasp of the rhythms in this map at all. And that's really shown by their 86. It really does look like it might be a side read for them. You have to wonder if that break in time for the Venezuelan team, where they couldn't muster up that third person for a little bit in the lobby, was because their SV player couldn't get online for some reason in Shiesty. But otherwise, Advo and the Yuko Fangirl doing pretty well, 97.5 for both of them, but just outshone by Mexico, 99.8 from the side of Plutus, and Mapsa, Shadow GM, very good supplementary scores, 99.55 for each of them.
Yeah, this Mexican roster has such just a great SV skill right now. Boots with this 99.8, we've seen so many good scores on this map, and that just adds to another list, right? Or another one to the list, as long as it is an FC. We see 5 FCs across the board, Boots being the only one to have missed. But even the other 2 players on Venezuela, Evo and Yuko Fangirl, definitely have played this map at least a few times. Being able to get a 98 or above is really, really good, honestly, especially if you have only played this a handful of times.
Yeah, those Jack teleports really catching out Plus, and even dropping Yuko Fangirl's accuracy quite a bit. Evo did manage to survive the storm, but still, again, as you see on the screen, that bar is really blue right now. Yuko Fangirl taking a drop as well as Plus. Evo the only FC left on Venezuela, and Mexico's lead is about to be 500,000 points.
Yeah, and we are approaching this last section of the map. And Boots has dropped a bit of accuracy, but it hasn't been enough. This 400k gap is just way too much. I think a lot of things would have to happen if Venezuela even wanted to have the chance to take this pick. And Boots does take a break, unluckily, but even then, this score is really, really good. And I believe this should just be 2-0 for Mexico right here.
Yep. Overall, a pretty good team score by Mexico. A couple of bad judgments that could have been avoided, but again, you can't expect perfect play in match play all the time. Venezuela picking up 2 S's, unfortunately, plus looking like they had to side read in place of another player for the Venezuelan team. So Mexico going up 2-0, and at least Venezuela gets the next pick.
That is true. We will be seeing. I honestly have no clue what Venezuela will want to pick. Maybe I feel like they should go for more of the one-sided, or like either Rice or LN. Really choose one. You protected Al Infinity, so maybe go for that. Unless you want to go for something a bit more coordination heavy with in Features Eve.
Yeah, one thing I would like to see, Edvo actually getting out that LN2 pick. One thing I would like to see Mexico pick next would probably be Rice 3. I really do want to see their top physicality. I think testing their jacks is a good way to see it. I think they could really bring out a really good team score there. But for now, Venezuela with AO Infinity, density pick of the LN pool. Gonna have to see if Venezuela can take that first point off Mexico.
Yep, and we will just be waiting for the rosters to get set up. I believe it'll be this roster for Mexico, Shadow GM, Nyarutoru, and most likely Envy. Oh, actually, it'll be Darkichizer.
Yep, Darkichizer coming in for Mexico. I think this is their first appearance on an LN map for them. Venezuela still sticking with Yuko Fangirl and Advo. I think their LN player is Konep. So yeah, we are going to see them come in, and that is going to be their full roster in Nyarutoru for the side of Mexico as well.
Yep, and with that, we should be getting ready very soon. And honestly, I am interested to see Venezuela's score on this map, since this is quite simple, I guess, in terms of LN difficulty, since it really is just straight like inverse streams. Not really inverse, it's like just just kind of jump stream LN, which most people should be able to play, especially even if you've just played Rice a few times. As long as you're able to read and get a hang of this kind of patterning, I think this should be one of the easier ones and one of the ones that we've been seeing a lot of higher scores on.
That is true. It is still at a pretty hasty 191 BPM, but we have seen a lot of the lower seeded teams kind of struggle with it. I've seen a lot of around 99.2 or 3 averages on AO Infinity. Uh, Even in the side of mid-seeded teams, they can't get 99990s. It's very, very scary to think about for the later pools.
Yeah, that is definitely true. And just waiting through this intro a bit.
I don't blame them. Honestly, if I were in match, I would not hit the skip button.
Yeah, just like make your opponents a bit more nervous, you know. Make them wait a bit longer, give them some time. But I think we will be going into the map now, just starting off AO Infinity are LN2. Venezuela trying their best to get their first point on the board, especially on their protect. It is very important that they are able to take this. And it is looking like it's in favor of Mexico, but it's not by that much, honestly.
Definitely boosted by a shaky start from Edvo, currently at a 99.3. Everyone finally at the combo cap, and Konam has density ramped up. Finally takes a break. Edvo as well. Yuko Fangirl even. That's a full FC clear from Venezuela. No more on the board for them. Mexico doing just fine. 99.68 from Dark Chaser and Shadow GM, and Yaratoro holding on with 99.5. Still better than their best player from Venezuela.
Yeah, and as you're saying that Neon Toro taking a break, but Konam actually had traded it before, so it's not even that big of a deal. Konam struggling a bit on this map with the 97%, and that's really understandable. Here we see Shadow GM and Yukio Fangirl taking a break, but both of them missing is really bad for this Venezuelan team. Mexico still has their full combo in Dark Hitchhiker, even in this highest accuracy in the lobby.
Thankfully, we do get a little break in the map, so you can try to supplement your combo just a little bit, but we are going to get right back into the density sections. Konam, unfortunately missing within this little coordination section. Mexico is still doing just fine. No 99.7s on the board for them, but just a wonderful team score. Overall, Yuko Fangirl and Envo, unfortunately, under that 99% mark. It's looking very, very rough for Venezuela on the side of Alliance right now.
Yeah, and we're going into this last quarter right now. It is really important for Venezuela to be able to keep up with this combo. Shadow DM does take a break, so it will be below that 400 combo mark for quite a bit. And this is really the time for Venezuela to try their best to catch up as much as possible, but actually this lead is growing in favor of Mexico due to all the 200s coming out from the Venezuelan team. And it's getting up there to the 100k mark right now.
Yeah, standout player for me right now is going to be Dark Chaz, of course, the only FC in this lobby, doing wonderfully. And I thought they were a Rice player, honestly, looking into the stats. They didn't play any LNs last week, but they are really turning it up here now as Mexico is going to take it over Venezuela. Another break point for them. It's going to be 3-0.
Yeah, and that's even on Venezuela's protect, so that is not that great for that team. However, I do want to highlight Edvo, who did have the one miss. So I believe that was just one break in one section, most likely a misread, which does happen from time to time. But yeah, all the Mexican players doing really, really well. Everyone above the 99%, and everyone above the 99.3, which is really, really good, honestly. But now it is going to be Mexico's pick. They don't have their SV, they don't have SV2 open, so they can't pick that. But I would suspect something in Rice or Hybrid right now, honestly.
Yeah, I'd have to see what is open for the side of the Mexican team. But with LN2 being up and with Mexico taking both LN maps, it's not a bad idea to just get it over with, get that LN sweep. Oh, actually, I was reading it wrong. I forgot that LN3 was banned by Mexico, actually, so maybe that was a misstep by them in the protect and ban phase. LN1 looking real juicy right now.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. You saw that she played significantly better than Venezuela on Owl Infinity, so you could definitely just opt to go for Features Eve, or you could use this breakpoint to your advantage to be able to maybe adventure into the higher or the top half of the pool, and you will actually be seeing Rice 3 and Liftoff. This is the one that you really want to watch, huh?
Yeah, it is because again, when I initially saw the players for the Mexican team, I thought that they were really good at Rice Act. So I just wanted to see how far they can push it as the rounds progress and the maps get harder and harder. And with this 142 BPM Jack map, I think this is a really good test of whether or not they can really survive in the quarterfinals, because that's when they might have to face a better team when it comes to physicality.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and especially having the practice in match, having the nerves on you and everything, basically, just being able to play this very difficult 140. It is 141 BPM core jack. However, it is a bit light, so honestly, especially if you are comfortable on this BPM, which most players are, it is generally, I guess, easier. But it's still, especially under the pressure, having to hit so accurately and having to just do so many things at once, it is important to be able to have this practice.
Yeah, totally agree there. One thing I really do want to note is there's still levels of comfortability when you get into that higher echelon of physicality, though. Yeah, sure, maybe you can FC this with ease, but how many 300s can you get on this map? How low can you really bring it? And that's what I'm really looking for here. So Plutus, Narutoru gonna be in for Mexico. I'm not sure who their third player. It's gonna be Envy. That should have been expected, honestly. Venezuela gonna see Mach and Yuko Fangirl, and probably Edbo. Maybe not. Maybe Shiesty.
Yeah, actually, it'll be Flutes. Second time
Yeah,
they
I'm
will be
totally wrong.
playing. I don't believe Monko or Monkin has actually played yet today, so it is interesting to see them play. We haven't seen any Rice maps come out, so maybe they're the Rice specialists on Venezuela right now.
That is true. So this is pretty interesting lineup. I think we haven't seen this iteration of each team in match play yet, so it's gonna be interesting to see how they work together and how they get this team score on liftoff.
Yep, and it looks like the MP recommend has gone out. We will be going into this map. Just another our second pick for Mexico here, opting to let us or opting to show us any rice map here. We will be seeing every single map in the little pools here.
Yeah, first rice pick coming out. This is 2.5 minutes, and it does get denser as the map progresses. So it's just a real test of stamina. Uh, Even for the Venezuelan team, I think that they are pretty top heavy when it comes to physicality, but I think they might struggle once it ramps up just a little bit.
Yeah, and especially after playing this, though it is only 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but if you're trying too hard to focus on ACK, it can definitely mess you up in terms of stamina, especially because of, I guess, how Core Jack is in general. You can get nervous even for like a millisecond and then instantly get a 200 of a miss or anything, and that can be really bad for any team.
So far, though, everyone's doing just fine. Mocking with a 99.9, same thing with Yuko Fangirl, plus lagging behind just a little bit, 99.7 from them as it starts to get into the Jax, Plutus, Envy, and Narutoru coming out very strong, 99.9s from all three of them.
Yeah, and this is what you were talking about. This team is really good at this physicality, and especially physicality accuracy, just being able to stay on time, being able to be basically like a metronome at this point. And we are 1/3 to the map. We see Monkwin taking the first break, and that is not great to see. This is going to increase the lead for Mexico, and another break from Flutes, and actually it'll be a triple break on Venezuela, and this lead just instantly expands in the favor of Mexico by 30,000.
Yeah, huge break from all three of them. Yuko Fangirls was particularly ugly. I think missed on basically a straight measure. drops down to all the way to a 98.7. Makin taking a second miss. Somehow 2 misses, but still at a 99.7. That's very, very impressive from them. Triple FC still on the side of Mexico, and the only one who's really dipped in accuracy is Naruto, 99.89, but that is very scary.
Yeah, and Mexico is just, oh my god, this team score is really, really good, honestly. Everyone almost at this 99.9 right now, and we're only a third of the map left, so there is a chance for misses to come out. But I'm hoping that that will not happen, honestly. Plutes, as I say this, will take a break and did have some accuracy drops, is at this 99.8 now.
Yeah, I think it would have been probably one of the best team scores for Mexico if Plutus had held in that FC. We are finally seeing the densest part of this map come to fruition. So many jumps, so many triples, and a couple of quads just to really make sure you're paying attention. Yuko Fangirl and Plus did drop down into the lower 99s in terms of accuracy, but still honestly held on very well. Makin again picked up a couple of misses, but that accuracy is crazy for the amount of misses that they got, and Envy missing in the last 30 notes. Really unfortunate. Won't damper their score too much. That's still almost a 994, and again, just crazy team score from Mexico. Gotta be in the upper half, maybe even in the top 8 if every team were to play this map.
Yeah, Envy does lose out on that V1SS. We do only see Niao Toru having the only double S, but it looks like Yukiko Fangirl seemed to have some sort of issues. They didn't even get a 200 whenever they did miss. They just got the 14 misses and the 100. So maybe a keyboard issue, maybe like lost concentration or something happened. Like your cat walked over your keyboard or something happened that caused that. But we will be seeing Venezuela's pick now. I honestly have no clue what you would want to pick if you are Venezuela right now. Maybe go back to the hybrid pool. That AMIG data wasn't too bad, honestly, especially considering the differences between Owl Infinity and Liftoff. So you could go the weird play of picking Mexico's Protect and bad for me right now.
Yeah, bad for me. Maybe even Alia Jakta Est hybrid 2. But it seems like right now Ellen and Rice are very much untouchable for Venezuela. Did like what you said with Yuko Fangirl's cat. Maybe it's a sleeper agent or something like that.
Yeah, it's actually a Mexican sleeper agent. It's like those carrier pigeons. They have carrier cats, actually, that the Mexicans flew out to Venezuela just to walk over Yukiko Fangirl's keyboard right now.
Yeah, just the long con to get that point. But honestly, it wasn't even needed. Mexico did have such a very scary trio of Rice Act players coming in. Venezuela picking Alia Jakta Est, just as I had suggested, should be at least closer than Halo Infinity and also Liftoff, but gonna have to see how close it is.
Yeah, and I think this is a good pick, honestly. You did really well on the Hybrid 3, so maybe if they are able to get some FCs on this map, they can get a lot closer, or maybe even take a point if Mexico takes a lot of misses on this map. But we will just be waiting on these lineups to get chosen once again. I would assume that Dark Hitchhiker comes in for Mexico right now, since they played really well on that on that LN2.
Yeah, I think Dark Chaser did really well. Shadow GM might also be an option for the Mexican team, or even Plutus. I'm not sure.
Yeah, this Mexican team is so versatile. It's really, they can put any one of those 3 players and basically get similar scores. It's really just a matter of who feels most comfortable on this kind of map right now.
It should be said that Alia Jakta Est, I would say, is a bit more Rice leaning. I'd hope you guys would agree with me. So maybe a Rice specialist. Dark Chaser is coming in for the Mexican team. I think we are ready to get into it. Mexico looking to take this 5th point and look for match point.
Yep, and it is really important for Venezuela to be able to pick this, so they are able to deny that match point right now for Mexico. Since really after this, if Mexico does pick, they will have match point as well as be in their pick. So they will be able to pick basically anything that they feel really comfortable on, or something that they feel confident in winning pretty easily.
Yeah, it's pretty scary to think about that if Mexico does take this point, secures Alia Jakta S, they still have Future Eve as a very good pick, considering how much they won AO Infinity by. That might be a good option for them. But for now, we are going to start off with Hybrid to Alia Jakta S.
Yep, and I'm really interested to seeing any of the Mexican scores right here, since they played really well on the MIG data. So if they are able to replicate that performance, then I feel like they should be able to get this match point right here, and maybe close out the series very soon.
Ooh, that long anchor catching out Konam early on in the map, just before the density starts to ramp up. But hopefully that doesn't mean that Konam can't put out a good score on this 11,000 points to the side of Mexico so far, and that's surely helped by that miss, but also Edvo with a pretty low accuracy FC 99.2 for them. Envy and Narutoro doing pretty well, and as I say that, a couple of 200s drop from them. Dark Chaser matching Narutoro and still beating any other player from the side of Venezuela.
Yeah, but Yukiko Fangirl definitely playing a lot better, at least compared to some of the other maps. Having probably their best accuracy by quite a lot. Konam also having good accuracy, just struggling a bit more on keeping that combo, honestly, since they haven't been able to find those multiple misses. And as I'm talking about that, they find another one, and that drops their accuracy right back down. And this Mexican lineup is basically untouchable in terms of whether they will be missing here.
Yeah, we are in the back half of the map. Dark Treasure finally taking that first break for Mexico, but that was straight out earlier by Konam. Yuko Fangirl, as you said, doing way better compared to their performance on, I think, Comic Data, where they picked up two pretty spread out misses. Edvo finally dropping as well. So Yuko Fangirl, the only FC for the side of Venezuela to Mexico's 2 FCs right now.
Yeah, and I just want to highlight Envy's score right now. The 99.8 is so good. And we are getting a fourth away left in the map, and we're really just seeing the score lead increase for Mexico, and it's getting to that 100k mark. It's getting kind of hard for Venezuela to even have a chance unless multiple misses come out from every single one of the Mexican players, but Konam just constantly taking breaks, and that is not helping their cause out all that much. And Edvo as well doing the same, and I believe this should be a pick for a point for Mexico as well as match point.
Yeah, Envy dropped a little bit in terms of accuracy, still got that 990, and someone missed on the last note. Not sure who, but pretty unfortunate from them. Narutaru and Dark Chaser, pretty good scores overall in that 980 range, still kept it very clean overall, supplemented Envy's score, and unfortunately Venezuela just could not get it going. Specifically Konam, 12 misses. All of those were pretty spread out. Edvo did pick up a 4-miss run, but they were able to combo through a lot of it.
Yeah, and here we go. We will be seeing Happy Arnold. Definitely a fan favorite map right here, and something that I feel like is really good for the Mexican team to play. They saw that they did really well in Liftoff, and that's a pretty physical map, and now we have, I want to say, one of the hardest maps in the pool here. So probably something that Mexico feels really confident on, considering that Venezuela didn't play all too well. I guess compared to how they did in the Liftoff.
Yeah, 100% agree on how Happy Arnold is probably one of the hardest maps in the pool. Very sad that Mexico is not going to pick Bad For Me. I think that was their protect. But, I mean, when it's a toss-up between Happy Arnold or Bad For Me, I can't really blame them.
Yeah, that is true. Both the maps and songs, honestly, are pretty good. I definitely do appreciate them. here, but we will just be waiting. I believe this will be the lineup. I feel like these are the same rice lineups for both the teams, so it is good to see that they kind of understand who's going to play what at this point.
Yeah, pretty interesting to see how Narutoru has been utilized in this round of 16 map pool. We didn't see them at all again last week against the United Kingdom. Not sure if they're present, but still a very interesting fact. Venezuela gonna see plus Makin and Yuko Fangirl. So no more Edvo, no Shiesty to be seen this week. I know that was one of their very physical players. Pretty unfortunate that they can't make an appearance here.
Yeah, that is definitely very unfortunate, especially considering how Venezuela kind of needs that very hyper physical player for these rice maps. But I think this should be it. We should be seeing the MP Star command coming out as soon as possible, as long as there are no changes. Unless it looks like there may be 4 Mexican players in the lobby right now.
Yeah, I think. Oh, there we go. So subbed out for Shadow GM. I think Shadow GM was hanging out in the Venezuelan side a little bit before I saw them in slot 1. So yeah, we are going to see Shadow GM come in here, and Star Command does arrive.
Yep, and Shadow GM, I believe this is the only time they've played in the match, correct? So we will be seeing not their first time playing in WC, however, their first time playing in this match specifically. And it will be going into match point for Mexico right now on Happy Arnold. Mexico's pick, not their protect though. They still haven't picked that, so they even if they do lose this, they still have Bad for Me bat in their back pocket if they absolutely do need it.
Yeah, I'm still trying to think about whether or not we saw Shadow GM earlier in the match. It's kind of hard as the match goes on and on, especially when you are in the 6th pick. Last week I know they did play the LN Hybrid and SVU Fangirl, taking that first miss. It was pretty clean overall, still hanging at a 99.6, tied with Makin, but Flust, again, kind of a low accuracy FC right now, 99.1. Hopefully they can get it up, but those rolly bursts coming in and immediately drops 0.5% in accuracy. Narutoru and Shadow GM actually trades it out, so right now that lead for Mexico is very, very small.
Yeah, this is definitely the closest lead that we've seen for Mexico right now. But Mogquin taking a break is not that great. This lead is still very small, so any missed drops from Mexico can cause a lot of issues. Maybe 1 or 2 drops is all they can get, but LS Plus taking a break definitely helps out Mexico, gives them a bit of room for comfort if they do need to miss. Or maybe they get a really, really bad judgment, like really dirty break at some point, especially on any of those split shows or those jacks.
Yeah, Bancho break taking us out with Narutoru still hanging on at 99.6, and again, Envy just a standout player for Mexico. We are getting into this back half, and they're still at a 99.8. Someone you can just really rely on at pretty much any skill set, especially in the rice department. That's gonna really help Mexico get the 60,000 point lead against Venezuela.
Yeah, but I do want to add that Yukiko Fangirl also has quite a good score actually at the 99.75, trying their best to cancel out Envy at this score. But it's just not going to be enough right now. They will need quite a bit more. We are going to the 4th, or only a 4th map left, so there's still quite a bit of an opportunity. This is the closest score that we have been seeing on any of the maps, so definitely good for Venezuela for now. The best opportunity that they will be having for a bit.
Yeah, those split shows coming out, the funny anchors coming out, but this really is the last Ki here. Venezuela needs something to happen, but it's just not there. We are going to get this final break, but these last couple of notes really aren't a sweat at all. Mexico should be able to FC this very easily. Maybe a bit of timing issue on this last little jack, but nope. So we are going to see Mexico take it versus Venezuela. 6-0, full sweep coming out from them. But honestly, it wasn't without a very, very good fight from Venezuela. We did see them try to, switch things up. We saw every skill set being utilized in this match. We saw Rice, LN, Hybrid, and SV, but unfortunately, it was not enough for them.
Yeah. And with that, this was a losers bracket match, so Venezuela is eliminated from this tournament. However, Mexico will be able to move on to next week. And this is our last match, so I think this will be it until qualifier show or not qualifier showcase. I'm sorry. Until round third or until quarterfinals showcase. So be sure to stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we'll try to get you guys that info. I think it should be at the top of the hour, so in around 15 minutes. But don't quote me on that. Congratulations again to Mexico for making it through. They are going to face Canada in a North American clash next week. And thank you to all the teams that got eliminated this weekend. Thank you guys for playing. Sad to see you go, but hopefully next year you can make a better run.
Yeah, congratulations to everyone who did play, who did qualify, however, are eliminated. It is really hard. This is probably the most tough competition that any player is able to go through. But with that being said, that's going to be it for me, unless you have anything else to say, Dinah.
Nope, just stick around for the showcase. We'll be back very soon, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Goodbye!
They are deciding the pick. Still, kind of debating whether the stream is even up or not. I have no idea if I'm just talking into the void right now, but it doesn't matter. Maybe we are still being recorded and you're listening to this right now.
Well, whatever it is, Brazil are going with Come Inside My Heart, which is Rice 1. So interestingly enough, the stream pick, because Brazil lost on Rice 1 last weekend, but Come Inside My Heart is a lot harder than Hajimete.
So we're still going for the physical picks, but the more straightforward physical picks, that is. Come Inside My Heart, very straightforward, straightforward streams compared to Celsius, which is also very streamy, but changes a lot of snaps and so on. Maybe some of the players had some trouble getting good accuracy on the snaps.
Just to recap for the audience that are now watching the stream, I believe it is not back up. Brazil protected Our Infinity, there's LN2, LN Density. Hong Kong have protected Complex, which is SV2, and the bands are of course on your screen. But yeah, first pick being Come Inside My Heart, that is the wrong song on the screen, but we are gonna see the Rice teams from both sides. We do see Koshin OSD stage, but Magmutus coming in for this one instead of the Scissors, but Magmutus is also capable of playing Rice as well. And on Brazil's side, we see Lemacinho and Demi Fiend with Silly Fango on the Rice. I don't think we saw Silly Fango last weekend, so this is actually Silly Fango's first appearance in the knockout stage of this year's World Cup.
Yeah, it is quite interesting to see players pop in and out, especially in early game, because in early game you do not necessarily want to put your most physical players in, because the most physical players might not be the best at accuracy. In round 32 and round 16, there's a lot of focus in getting good accuracy, especially. However, the map pools this year have been getting harder, so we might see the physical players get in earlier, as opposed to maybe quarterfinals in. But in any case, the stream is gonna get figured out. Do not worry about it.
Yeah, just some tech issues right now, but over the A stream, right now there has been back-to-back breakpoints, I believe. Vietnam are currently up 2-1.
But yeah, we're gonna do some radio commentary in the meantime. I believe they have actually started playing the map. But we will relay as much information as we get from the backstage for this first point in Brazil versus Hong Kong. Keep in mind there's also another match going on in the main Osu Live channel if you want to follow that. It is Vietnam versus Thailand, and it is 2-1 right now. Just figuring things out in the technical department here. If we still
hopefully we'll be able to try and... Yeah?
Yeah, hopefully we get to see the result at least, but we should be getting done. We should almost be getting done with the pick right now. It's not a very long pick.
Yeah, the map itself is only 2 minutes and 19 seconds. So it's definitely one of the shorter maps of the pool. But with that also being said, it is going to be one of the more punishing maps as well. Because of the nature of the streams and with it being short, a miss can cost a lot more.
Okay, we got the results.
We do have the results, yes.
Okay, Marcinio topping the lobby with the 994243. 994 with 219 300s and 1 200. Also 1 200 from Silifango, but 255 300s. On the other end, there's also Quotient, who got 235 300s, also 1 200. Demiphine had one miss, but 176 300s, by far the best ratio of the lobby. But,
Yeah, Demiphine definitely had a really strong score, but just missing in the dead middle of the entire map. 1100 combo out of 2100, which tanked Demiphine's score down to 988k only.
Yeah, I think in the miss department, Hong Kong had a definitely big disadvantage with Meg Mewtwo Z missing twice and OCD Gen Stage missing once as well. So whether it be in so disadvantage in the accuracy and combo department, 23k of gap between the two teams. That is a very defining first pick. And first point for the Brazilian team. Second pick goes to the Hong Kong team.
Yeah, one of the worries for this map pool is that it might be getting a little bit too hard to the point where Hong Kong are definitely going to struggle to keep up with how strong Brazil can be when it comes to mid to late game. And Hong Kong... Oh, wait, is that Hong Kong picking
Yes.
Mr. Scratch? Man, it is! So we do see SV come out then, if that's the case. So immediately a lot of player swaps, I think.
Yeah, I think this
Wait,
year...
actually... yeah.
Yeah, this year a lot of teams have not necessarily focused their lineups towards SV, so I think the SV meta is being pretty dynamic this year, and that makes all of the SVs much more of a wild card pick as a whole, especially given that Protects exist this year for the first time ever in World Cups.
We are seeing Silly Fango play SV, and not a Zerg. I remember Zerg was actually playing OMG last weekend, but it does seem like Silly Fango will be the one to step in for the SV this time around. And for Hong Kong, all three players on your screen did play OMG last weekend, so it is the same SV roster for Hong Kong this time round.
It seems we are still one map late. We're very sorry for all of the technical difficulties here, but we are doing our best to relay to you as we are getting the information live.
Hopefully we can get this sorted out so that we can get to see a map underway.
Yeah, in any case, Mr. Scratchman, SV number 1 being played right now. Brazil versus Hong Kong.
I'm very interested to see how this might actually turn out, because Hong Kong on SV, they were 15th on OMG and Brazil were 3rd. There was a 26,000 point gap. So on paper, Brazil should actually win this despite it being a Hong Kong first pick, but you know, Hong Kong did protect SV2. I'm a little interested to see if they've actually hard practiced SV this time around and might actually give Brazil a surprise.
Yeah, because especially in early game, SV scores are going to be very volatile, depending on chokes as well, because all of the picks are pretty chokeable, and one miss is going to remove like maybe 10, 20,000k. 20,000k. What am I saying?
20,000k. That's 20 million.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of points. But yeah, Mr. Scratchman, SV1 is the more reading focused type of SV, so the Protect going towards Complexa The more memo-oriented SV is also defining Hong Kong's strategy. And we have the result, and what a team score from Brazil. 995, 995, and 994.
Wow,
Starting narrator dialogue. Exiting narrator.
that is actually incredible. Almost a full team V1WS. Demi-Fiend the only one dropping a single 200 from Brazil's side, and Brazil will take it to 0. Also, DGen Stage also has a V1WS, but Mac Mewtwo's has a miss, and Resistance got 5 200s, which tanked Hong Kong's team score.
Yeah, I cannot believe that Demi-Fiend, Osu, DGen Stage, and Resistance all had a score of 0, and especially with double S from Osu, DGen Stage, a score of 0. I've never seen that before.
I mean, at least we're back. We are back, and okay, I think the picks are still wrong, but we are back for now. Because now it should be Brazil's pick.
And this is also Brazil's first breakpoints on SV, and a very strong breakpoints as well. Because if they're that confident, if they're that strong on the first SV pick, how strong are they on the second SV pick? And is Hong Kong still gonna pick it?
Yeah, like, I don't think many people were expecting Brazil to be this strong on SV. I mean, they were a little bit shaky when it came to the SV qualifier. So to see a full team total of 1 single 200, that is something that Hong Kong should be a little bit scared about now that Complex is still open as well, and it is their Protect. Brazil can definitely pick it if they want to, but we'll have to see what they want to go for. I really think Brazil should play it a little bit safe for now and go for LNs. Potentially hybrids.
Oh, they're going into hybrid.
Alright. It will be hybrid 1, which is bad for me.
And here we go, we have the correct song on stream. Maybe we're gonna get to see some gameplay right now.
Yeah, I believe Silly Fango should stay in, and I think Silly Fango should stay in for the rest of the match as well. If they were absent last weekend, maybe there was something that happened, but I think Silly Fango is capable to play pretty much everything in this map at this point. But now, who's going to be the third player? Could it be Demi-Fiend? Because Demi-Fiend did play hybrid last weekend.
Yeah, honestly, that for me, 1.1 being in round 16 is pretty challenging, but I think it's easy enough that someone like Demi-Fiend, who doesn't necessarily scale late game, but is very, very strong in early game, such a sharp shooter, is gonna play that, yeah.
Yep, they are in the lobby.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty accessible pick for Demi-Fiend, and I'm expecting a really high accuracy. Maybe some chokes. It is still pretty chokeable, especially if the trills and coordination required for this.
Yeah, this is definitely a very chokeable map. A lot of the bursts in this map, we have seen so many players trip them up over the last couple of matches. I remember vividly Sweden-Malaysia, when it was 5-3 to Malaysia, it had like 5 or 6 lead swaps towards the end.
Yeah, I think that the volatility of this pick makes for some very, very interesting matchups and back and forth, and I'm looking forward to see how it's going to go between Brazil and Hong Kong, both very strong teams.
Yeah, Hong Kong still yet to get a point on the board. If they are able to get a point on this will be a very interesting take on the match if they can get a break point. But for now, Brazil very strong accuracies from the start. Hong Kong did have a little bit of a lag behind on O's DGen stage, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no. Actually, yes. O's DGen stage just lagging a little bit behind.
Yeah, all very close, all things considered, and that's going to be a battle of attrition, really. It's up to the team that's going to drop accuracy first, actually.
These accuracies, my goodness. There's
Can you
basically
believe-
no lead.
Yeah, can you believe that the lowest accuracy in the lobby right now is like 99.79, which is a really, really high accuracy?
Yeah, I mean, when you have seed 5 against seed 13, you're bound to get scores like this. Sorry, seed 5 versus seed 12. You're bound to get very close scores, and like, so far none of these players have dropped. They're hitting the 1000 combo mark. This lead is non-negotiable right now.
Yeah, I've been talking about chokes the entire time, and when you think about chokes, you think about misses, but accuracy drops are gonna matter in this matchup here. Maybe to see the substantial accuracy drop, which is gonna tip the lead substantially towards Brazil.
This is just accuracy diff right now. But they all hit that very nice trill. So we are already halfway through. Right now, Hong Kong just need to hope for a miss of Brazil.
Yeah, we've been seeing Marcinio drop some accuracy as well, but Marcinio has not gotten below 99.8 yet. But the accuracies do not look invulnerable on either side, really. This is a very, very stressful pick.
Yeah, but Hong Kong are still in striking distance. Still all 3 FCs intact. Quotient doing really well to keep up with the Brazilians. And Citypunk actually tanking a little bit of accuracy down to 99.8 only, but it's just Demi-Fiend. It's the Demi-Fiend show.
Yeah, honestly, Demi-Fiend going against Quotient and Dosu Dijan stage. No, the miss. That's gonna tip the lead definitely towards Brazil as we are tipping towards the end of the map.
Yeah, it is gonna solidify Brazil's lead as they hit 5 digits. And that should be it, because the end of this map is rapidly approaching. There needs to be a miss and soon for Brazil, and I don't think it's going to happen, especially with the ending of this map being more tame than the rest of the map.
Yeah, honestly, that was very, very well thought from Hong Kong. Those accuracies are actually really, really strong for a team that actually lost a point on this pick. Like, this type of team score would beat a lot of teams in the tournament.
Yeah, but how do you respond to a single 200 from Demi-Fiend? 151, 300 as well.
How do you 997 this? What in the world?
I mean, it is Brazil. Brazil have a history. A very long and rich history.
I mean, Demi-Fiend themselves have a big history of getting really crazy accuracies on maps that you would not expect good accuracies to show up at all.
Yeah, and definitely one of the fears that I mentioned at the start of this match is definitely coming to fruition about how Hong Kong might not be able to keep up with Brazil when it comes to a map pool that is starting to shift towards the mid game.
So right now, Hong Kong is a little bit against the wall right now. They might not have the advantage in terms of physicality and Rise. In long note, they have to go against Demi-Fiend and a very strong long note lineup as well. And especially since they banned Ellen, they're probably not going to go for Ellen, which leaves SV open still.
Yeah, I think realistically right now it's gonna be either Complex or maybe Innocent Revolver / Happy Arnold. But it's so risky. It's really so risky for Hong Kong to pick one of the Rise, yeah.
Yeah, but we've seen a very close matchup on that for me, so part of me wants to believe that Hong Kong might also have a chance on the other hybrids.
But it is gonna be Complex. Both SVs being picked by Hong Kong. They did lose the first one. Can they capitalize on the second? Will we see the same lineups for SV? I don't remember Zerg actually playing Mr. Scratchman, so Zerg's in the lobby. With Scissors, okay, that's for Hong Kong. Alright, it should be... Demi-Fiend did leave the lobby. Demi-Fiend should be playing SV. Question mark? Maybe Silifrango? Or someone else entirely, I don't know.
Yeah, what's interesting about having a team of 6 is that you do not necessarily have to have only 3 players who can actually play SV. If your team actually has more than 3 players who can handle SVs, you can share the training between the 2 SV maps between yourselves, and that makes for some different lineups between SV1 and SV2, which is most likely what we're gonna see right now.
Yeah, the best teams are definitely the teams with the most diversity in the players and players that are able to basically split the workload. And we do see Demi-Fiend in this time round and not Silifango, so just a little bit of a swap this time for Brazil. I believe Hong Kong is an unchanged SV lineup. It is an unchanged SV lineup for Hong Kong.
Yeah, and you know what? That also works. Anything works. Well, anything to make the team dynamics work. And I've been seeing a lot of different team dynamics throughout the tournament, and I think that's what makes World Cups a very interesting experience from a high level perspective.
Yeah, you can have all of the information in the world and you might not know what can actually happen in the maps themselves. And we'll see if that might be the case for Hong Kong as they want to try and change the tide of fortune. And is that a huge miss from the Marcinho? Is that a wrongly timed ghost tap or rhythm into one of the notes?
That was such a scuffed ghost tap. I'm so sorry, Marcinho. I'm so sorry for you.
There's also a rough start for Zerg and with Scissors. Is that client from Zerg? I think we have to wait and see. If it's not client, then that's gonna be a huge lead to Hong Kong.
Yeah, nah, that doesn't seem like a client miss at all. So Brazil right now is 2 misses against 0 from Hong Kong, and that seems to be a very good protect going from Hong Kong. They seem pretty confident, relatively confident on the pick itself, with the 3 full combos still intact, above 99% in accuracy.
Yeah, this is a completely different story from what we saw with Mr. Scratchman, and as Zerg does miss again. Demi-Fiend actually MVPing the lobby still. But all 3 players on Hong Kong still intact with combos.
Yeah, very substantial advantage right now. And I think that Brazil, in terms of training, really focused their training on SV1 in order to get a breakpoint if Hong Kong actually picked SV2 first and won their pick. Rested this with a miss, but that's not gonna matter in the grand scheme of things because Brazil has a lot more misses going their way.
Yeah, it might still flicker over if Hong Kong have like all 3 players drop, but the consistency from O's Legion stage and Mac Mewtwo's is just there. Oh, actually Mac Mewtwo's dropping accuracy, but nothing too detrimental. Hong Kong will take a point, the first of this match against Brazil. Very similar scores between Demi-Fiend and O's Legion stage actually.
Wow, it's 7 judgments away from being a tie. And that is a very beautiful matchup between the 2, and that's not going to be a sweep for the Hong Kong team. First point against Brazil. That is a very good thing to have.
Yeah, but now the issue is all of the SVs are exhausted. Hong Kong will now have to play either Ellen, Hybrid or Rice. Which I think their best bet has to be Rice at this point, I feel. But it is going to be Brazil's pick first, before we can talk about what Hong Kong want to go for.
Yeah, and honestly, the strategy from Hong Kong going forward is going to be a very good question. They did have a very close matchup on Bat for me, on the 1 choke away. I think their best bet is trying to get the choke from the Brazilian team, and it's just gonna come down to figuring out where exactly Brazil is prone to chokes. And well, that hybrid number 2 might give some information towards that, but that's the Brazilian pick.
Yeah, it seems like Brazil, like, they seem confident on hybrids actually, which is interesting because I feel like they might be more confident on Lens, or maybe if they feel confident on some of the Rise, like maybe one of the Tech, or perhaps even Cord Jackie. But it's been Hybrid 1 and Hybrid 2 so far.
Yeah, I don't think Hong Kong necessarily wants to pick something like Court Jacks because I think Hong Kong knows that Brazil has a lineup for 140 BPM Court Jacks.
Definitely. Like Brazil and Cord Jacks, like you can think of so many scenarios in the past that they've just excelled on them. Hong Kong definitely have a strong Cord Jack lineup in the past, but if you're gonna compare it to Brazil, it's very difficult. It's gonna be like David versus Goliath at that point. But a new lineup for Brazil, we do see Netro in, and Miku Meru.
Yeah, it's gonna be their first appearance in the match. And very different lineup from the hybrid number 1. That kind of goes to show how different Batromi and Aliakta Est are as maps. Aliakta Est is very much more, I'd say, technical, jack-oriented, flowy. I'm running out of words to describe the differences, really, but keep in mind that those are very different maps.
According to my notes, it's just a harder Stage 3 qualifier.
I mean, that works as well.
Yeah, Demi-Fiend in the lobby, Koshin in the lobby for Hong Kong. So that is the hybrid lineup for Hong Kong. But for Brazil, it is definitely a little bit of a change. But let's see, Netro and Miku Meru will be playing for the first time in this match. We'll see if they can make an impact. Mirror on the side of Miku Meru.
Now let's see what they have in store.
So this intro can be a little bit deceiving. It is going to be tame as compared to the rest of the map, but accuracies can definitely be dropped.
Yeah, honestly, handling the progressive BPM is a challenge in itself, especially in a stressful situation like a tournament match. But here we go into the meat of the map.
Yeah, Hong Kong are just very... They were trailing Brazil by just a bit, and now they are rewarded from a natural miss. Like, Hong Kong's accuracies may be lower than Brazil, but they are so close. And with that, natural dropping to 99.7, Hong Kong do have, I think, just the slightest of accuracy advantages.
Yeah, honestly, seeing that choke from the Brazilian team is definitely something that the Hong Kong team should be on the lookout for. Really figure out where Brazil might get a choke, but that's a trade actually, on the exact same spot as well? No!
Yeah, and natural will drop as well. More misses on Brazil's side to Hong Kong, 1 FC to 2. Hong Kong somehow, on Brazil's pick, have current control.
Wow, look at that gap, that's 10,000. 10,000 on a 2 minute and 32 second long pick is very substantial. And if Hong Kong manages
not over
to
yet.
if Hong Kong manages to get that breakpoint, that's going to be a significant boost in morale in terms of momentum.
The lead is shrinking though because Hong Kong is tanking accuracy. Also, DGen stage now down to 99.75. Mac Mewtwo has lost the 99.87 down to 8.2. So Hong Kong are just ever so slightly dropping. Brazil are ever so slightly climbing.
Yeah, Hong Kong's accuracy
like,
on the
oh.
hybrid client is messing up, I think.
That's client to Meg, but that's not client to Demi. No, there is the client to Demi.
It is.
So nothing is gonna change. 7,000 points though.
Yeah, honestly, Hong Kong's accuracy on the hybrids have been looking really, really clean, and you gotta wonder if Brazil is gonna keep focusing the hybrid category, because we've been seeing clean runs from the Hong Kong team on both hybrids, and that run on hybrid 2 is definitely gonna bear fruit with a first break point for Hong Kong.
Yeah, without those misses, Brazil should have gotten that.
Wow,
Very
look at
clean
the judgments
accuracies
from
across
Natural.
board and natural. Like, yeah, 152 miss, but no hundreds or 200s. And that's the hiccup from Brazil. Hong Kong have capitalized on a break point, and it's back to their pick.
Yeah, I think the base move right now would be to pick hybrid 3 and get another point, and that would be absolute momentum.
That's gonna be a gamble, that's for sure.
Yeah, because Amic Data might be harder than the two other hybrids. It's also a
Amic
very
Data
different
has
hybrid,
just-
yeah.
Yeah, the snaps are just so much harsher as well. But that could also mean that Brazil might trip up more. But that also just gives more risk to Hong Kong if they want to take it. Hong Kong might give this one a think. Because I
Yeah.
think that hybrid 3 looks very tempting. It's like a poison rose, you know. Like, do you want to go closer to it?
Yeah, the thing about the hybrid category is that it's not necessarily a rock, paper, scissors kind of category, but you gotta think more about the pick itself, like how it plays for your team and how potentially it plays for the other team. But thinking about how it plays for the other team is very hard to think about, because you really cannot predict how the other team is gonna perform unless you know the other team really well. Going for Court Jack in this
Yeah.
situation is
Yeah,
very, very bold.
this is bold. This is way bolder than picking Amic Data, honestly. Like, we know the history of Brazil. We know them playing Court Jacks. They are an absolute monster. But maybe Hong Kong knows something that we don't. Especially since that Brazil, for the first time in a long time, do not have Lothus.
Yeah, shoutouts to Lotus, who has been contributing wonderful replays for this entire for all of the showcases so far. Just really outstanding playtesting and replays and so on. Just incredible.
Yeah, indeed, but with Lotus doing the replays, that means they will be absent from Brazil's team. So it is going to be Lema, Senior, Silifango, and Demifiend. That is still a very strong Project lineup. I mean, come on. Hong Kong do have Ozdigen, Stagecoach, and Mewtwo's, but this is going to be interesting. I did say before, David versus Goliath. We'll see if that's going to happen.
Yeah, this matchup is going to be a mix of accuracy and just not choking as a whole. So both teams are going to be on the lookout for a choke from the other side, but they're also going to be hard focusing on getting the best ratio they can, because if Hong Kong really wants to get that point, they really have to focus their ratio, because Brazil is not going to be forgiving at all.
So
We are
early
going-
on, it is just to... Yeah?
As we're going into this intro, I just want to point out that Vietnam is the silent is at 4-4 right now. But
Is that a miss?
Yeah.
Is that a miss from Demifiend? That is so weird. We're not in the Kojak section, and that's a miss already. We saw that, I believe, a few matches ago, where a player was playing liftoff as well, and they missed right before the Kojak even began. So that has happened already to Brazil, and now we're going into the actual Kojaks. That could be really bad. If Hong Kong just keep all 3 FCs, it could be over already. But that is if they can keep all 3 FCs.
Yeah, that's the essence of tournaments. It all comes to what you do on the pick in practice versus what goes in theory, because Demifiend might have one of the best accuracies in the world, but if Demifiend actually gets a miss in the beginning out of stress or something, that is not gonna help.
It was early on, like it was before the 400 combo cap, so it is still okay. If Brazil find if Hong Kong find any accuracy drops themselves or a miss. But I feel like if things just stand like this, if Demifiend tries all they can to increase their accuracy, it's still not going to be enough, I think. Unless Hong Kong do drop. Magmutus is actually at 98.8! And that's a miss from Magmutus. Lead goes straight to Brazil. Caution with a miss as well. That's 2 misses to 1. 2 FCs to Brazil, 1 FC to Hong Kong.
Yeah, look at that lead. That's building up really fast towards Brazil. 2 misses, and all of the misses, any miss is gonna be very fatal for either team. The miss from Magmutus was particularly dirty because that's the only accuracy below 99.9. Oh no, all of the
I was about to say OZDGen stage still holding really well, but that's the last FC from Hong Kong.
Yeah,
that has to be the point.
You just had to think about it. You just had to think about it, did ya?
Okay, I want to see this ratio from Silly Fang go, by the way. As long as they don't throw the ending. Oh, you got this. Wow, 999k. How many is that? 40?
Man,
oh my, what? What is it? Caution with 47 as well.
This
Hello?
entire lobby. Yeah, this entire lobby is just something else. This is not the first like triple sub 100 300s we've seen in this round, but yeah, it just goes to show how strong Brazil is on court jacks, as we've been saying.
And I also just say there are three V1SS flags, and they were all 1 misses. Welcome to court jacks.
Yeah, it's just the essence of a court jack pick, especially in round 16. You may have one of the best, you may have the best accuracies in the world, but if you miss, that's not gonna help your case at all.
Yeah, it was a bold move from Hong Kong, but alas, it didn't work out. Brazil going straight away for L-Lens, and we are going to see their protect. Our Infinity is now out.
Honestly, yeah, I wouldn't call the court jack pick from Hong Kong a bad pick, because if Hong Kong actually managed to get the triple FC against maybe 2 misses from Brazil, that would have been a point, and that was one of the points that they could actually manage to challenge, because liftoff is a very chokeable pick as we've seen it.
Yeah, I think it would have been a really surprise. It would have been a really big surprise point to Hong Kong. Because like that 1 miss from Demifiend was just so uncharacteristic. It didn't even happen in the Kojak section.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how much difference there's gonna be between Brazil and Hong Kong on the LN category, because this is the first map in the LN category that we're gonna see in this match, and that's also gonna give some important information going forward.
Indeed, but Brazil are just an absolute L-Lane powerhouse, one of the best L-Lane teams in this World Cup. We'll see if Hong Kong can try and at least keep some pace. With this being L-Lane density, there is definitely some room for choking. Also, I think this is unchanged from the Kojak map.
Wait, is this the
It is.
same?
It's unchanged. We're going from Rice to L-Land and not a single player swapped out.
Oh my god, that is very
I mean-
rare to see. Port jacks
Very
at the same
rare,
as long
but-
notes confirmed.
Whatever floats Brazil's and Hong Kong's boat, I guess. A single mirror
Yeah.
from Le Massinho.
Yeah, Arrow Infinity is just a court jack pick.
Okay, Demi-Fiend. Holding that V2 double S for a good while. But now we're getting into the meat. Yeah. Alright, let's see how close Hong Kong can get to Brazil here. Because Brazil have the accuracy lead from the start.
Yeah, honestly, looking at Marcinho and Silifanga, the lead doesn't seem that much defined because Hong Kong is still going strong here. But go ahead.
That's a miss. Yeah, miss from Magmutus and tanking accuracy down 9.5. So now that lead gonna grow to the 5 digits.
Yeah, that's a
that's another one.
back and miss from Magmutu V. Definitely not a good sign for Hong Kong. Has to pray
Yeah, that's
for
the nature of
2
this map.
and more misses from Brazil, but Brazil definitely looks pretty confident enough that they would protect this.
Yeah, a little bit shaky from Silifango, but I mean, Le Massinho is tying Hong Kong's best accuracy, and Demi-Fiend is on a different planet altogether. There has to be a miss from Brazil now, like there's no chance Hong Kong will take this if Brazil just hold on. There are still chances though. That second half definitely has a bit more choke potential than the first half.
Yeah, the drops from Brazil would have to be very substantial because we are the 18k gap almost.
This part should still be manageable. But once we get into these streams again, then we could see some shakeups. Right now, I think the lead's growing to Brazil. It might hit 20,000 or maybe not. But here we go.
Yeah. This map is very backloaded, so we are potentially going to see some chokes in the back end.
Maybe. Maybe? No, everyone holding on well. No misses right at the end. And Brazil will take it comfortably, 19,000 points, and that's a V1 WS Demi-Fiend, 179.
Yep, very beautiful score, very Demi-Fiend score here. Just very typical of an early game long notes.
Shoutouts to Koshin as well, really strong ratio despite the 8200s, nagging a 993k. But
Yeah,
that is going to be
actually,
match point to Brazil.
Actually rivaling Marcini as well, yeah. Very beautiful scores all across the board. Very strong showing from Hong Kong as well, and I definitely look forward to see what either team is capable of doing in the losers bracket, because if they are that strong in round 16, they are definitely gonna be nailing quarterfinals very well.
But now, Hong Kong. Their upper bracket lives on the line, and it is their pick.
Yeah, I don't think Hong Kong wants to pick the remaining long nodes. The hybrids, we have already discussed the hybrids at length, and they might be going for that. And their next choice would be the technical maps, but I think the technical maps might be a little bit too challenging for Hong Kong, and which leaves Jump Stream remaining. But I think Jump Stream, as we've seen with the Court Jack pick, is probably too straightforward for Hong Kong, and the accuracy on the Brazilian side is going to be pretty much very high, very high.
There is going to be a timeout from Hong Kong. They will give this one a think, that's for sure. 3 Rise remaining, 1 Hybrid, 1 L lane. Like you mentioned, they should avoid L lane. And get us still on the board. Infinity Rage maybe to try and drag out stamina from Brazil. There are 2 tech maps also available at their disposal. But we'll have to see if Hong Kong want to pick any of them.
Yeah, I think this is the right moment for a timeout as well, because if you don't use your timeout, and you lose this pick, then the match is over, because Brazil is at match point right now, only 1 point away from victory, as you can see on the layout. In the meantime, we can see that Vietnam vs Thailand is 5-4 right now for Thailand, and if Vietnam manages to...
Vietnam are leading the last map, by the way.
Yeah.
Vietnam are actually leading on the last map. There's a miss from Thailand. And Vietnam have a good lead with the last quarter of the map. I believe they're playing Future E. And if Vietnam do take the point, there is a miss from Vietnam though. But if Vietnam do take the point, it will be tiebreaker.
Oh, we might see a very close call here. Yeah, I do think that's going to be a very close call, and many things are clenching inside of me right now.
It is tiebreaker. Tiebreaker for Vietnam and Thailand. And it will be Rise 6 from Hong Kong. We're going to see Hapiano actually.
Wow.
So they have opted for tech.
Yeah, as much as I want to scream tiebreaker on Vietnam versus Thailand's, and we also have to focus on this match. We cannot stop this match to watch the tiebreaker. But well, you can go over on the other channel if you want to watch the tiebreaker. But still, Happy Arnold going.
How about you watch
match.
both?
Yeah, just watch both. Like, yeah, just that's the bait move to go here. Just watch both streams at the same time. Twitch allows you to do that, so why not go for that?
Alright, now back to this pick. This is going to be very interesting from Hong Kong, I believe. I believe this should be their main Rise lineup. Yep. There is no Scissors. I think these 3 players have been maining the tech maps. And for Brazil, it is just business as usual.
I think this pick in particular might be decided by miscount.
Definitely, this map is so difficult because the bursts are so strainy. Like, they just come randomly and they also take a beating on your hands.
Nice to meet you.
We will have to see. This is once again, like the last few maps, Hong Kong being able to keep up just a little bit behind Brazil in accuracy.
Yeah. What Hong Kong lacks in accuracy, they might catch up if Brazil catches some misses and chokes.
No one shipping on that fast stream. Oh, but
Oh, no.
Caution does ship on the Jack.
That's
So
not
advantage
where-
Brazil.
Yeah, that's not where the choke needed to appear for Hong Kong.
Yeah, and that's another one from Caution. Lead will extend to Brazil. Brazil are holding so well, by the way. City can go over 99.9.
Yeah, judging from the accuracy, those are not very clean misses for Quotient either, so that's not gonna help in terms of accuracy.
Yeah, dropping down to 99.7. Mac Mewtwo's trying to climb back up to 99.8. Trying to soften the blow a little bit. But if there are no misses coming from Brazil, then this is so difficult for Hong Kong.
Yeah, Hong Kong definitely needs some very dirty misses coming from Brazil. They both need to drop combo and accuracy in order to leave an opportunity for Hong Kong, but the opportunities just dwindle away with OCD Gen Stage first miss on this map.
Yeah, that light is slowly snuffling out. With every passing second, Brazil are just going to continue to stomp forward to the quarterfinals upper bracket if they do not miss. we still have another section afterwards, after this.
And the Brazilian run is looking really clean right now, and this is not an easy map at all.
I'd say if you struggle on Rise, this has to be the hardest one. That should be it. There's no way Brazil are throwing a 28,000 point lead at the end. That should be a Brazil 6 point. And I think Hong Kong also know it too.
Yeah, just looking forward to the results from the Brazilian team right now. Just what kind of performance have they cooked?
Yeah, 2990? That's such a sick team score.
Okay.
What an incredible ratio from Demi Fiend.
Yeah,
87, but a V1 from Silly as well.
Yeah, please just go, just get away from here. Okay, man, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Brazil are just putting a hand on the fire, saying, come at us, any higher seeded teams. Because that is one heck of a team score, and Brazil are going to the quarterfinals of the upper bracket. Hong Kong's still not out. They will just be dropping to the lower bracket. And I believe, if I can check the bracket real quick, they will be facing the winner between Ukraine and Peru. But, with Brazil winning, we got a very mouth-watering match next weekend. Philippines versus Brazil. How do you like that?
That's kind of a wild matchup, yeah. Because if Brazil is that confident on round of 16, they're definitely gonna do well on quarterfinals. And same goes for the Philippines. Philippines, one of the strongest teams this year, maybe even one of the favorites, period. But right now we are going to direct you to the tiebreaker that is starting right now between Vietnam and Thailand on Oath Ambrosia.
Yeah, they are currently playing the tiebreaker right now, but with that being said, we will be signing off on this stream at the moment, so do check out the A stream, twitch.tv/OSLive, and with that, we will see you all later.
Yeah, see you on the other side. Heyo, welcome back to the B stream. This is OsuLive_2. While there is another match going on, Chile versus China, 2-2. This is another match. This is gonna be Ukraine versus Peru. Look at those lineups. Look at those beautiful lineups. This is losers brackets, however. And the loser of this match is gonna go home. The winner of this match is gonna keep going on to the losers brackets. I am Patil. I'll be commentating this match with Mifa. How are you recovering from the tiebreaker?
Hello again. Coming from A stream, my throat hasn't been going so well because my voice cracked every time, but that's all that matters because in the last match, and that's all in the past, really. This is what we're actually going to be focusing on in this particular match, which is also the losers bracket, supposedly, with Ukraine versus Peru here. I'm not fully sure what to expect here because I haven't seen like a lot of scores that I've seen from like around the 32 matchup, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting because I know that Peru as a whole is, I think, a very polarized country as a whole. I think Peru has a lot of physical players in their lineups, and they're really banking on how they scale late game, and also incidentally that's how they lost against France last week in round 32. So maybe not the best early game team, but as the rounds go on and as the maps get harder, they will get more and more of an advantage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like they should also be mentioned, and supposedly that what most people will realize that even in these tight situations where Ukraine and Peru, there's a possibility they can go to tiebreaker, like what just happened in Vietnam versus Thailand, because their scores are relatively like anybody's game. While just looking at their previous scores in round of 32, this seems to be the case. Although their weaknesses seem to be covered a lot of grounds, and it will be interesting to see what their protects and bans are, really.
Yeah, honestly, I'm looking forward to see what the strategy coming from Ukraine is going to be, because I do believe that Ukraine is going to be kind of the underdog in this situation, and it's going to be interesting because, as I've mentioned, Peru is looking pretty physical, so Ukraine might be aiming for maybe the long dead category, maybe hybrids, or maybe even SVs. However, SVs kind of depend on the lineups they have and how comfortable they feel on the SVs, so all remains to be seen before we see the roles, the protects, the bans, and the picks.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel this would be the interesting choices that Ukraine and Peru has for their protected picks, and looks like Ukraine's gonna be protecting Infinity Rage. I haven't seen anyone protecting a jumpstream map before, at least in my case, where everything is gonna be either hybrid or LN or either Rice, like Liftoff, or for example, being the protects.
Okay, I kind of forget the lineups here.
Ooh.
Uh,
Actually, Peru's protecting Complex or SV2, I think. Or maybe,
Yeah, I
actually, hang on.
No,
Is
no.
it Ukraine's protect?
Peru is protecting Jumpstream, and Ukraine is
Oh,
actually
yeah.
protecting SV.
Okay, yeah, it's the other way around then. Okay, so the thing is that Peru knows their strengths at the very least in terms of consistency picks. And it does seem that Ukraine is going to be acting on SVs, and I'm pretty sure Peru is going to be banned the other SV in this case.
Yeah, honestly, it looks very interesting. I do think that Ukraine is playing very strategically here, which is very good to see, and this is what they need to do against Peru.
They're going for the Orbit ban here, looks like for Ukraine. The LN3 pick. Understandably so, and looking like Peru's gonna be banning SV2 or is SV1, I think. Yeah.
Wait, didn't they protect
Huh.
that?
I mean they said it complex protect. Well, yeah, I think Peru is probably gonna be banning the SV1 then. So it's probably Mr. Scratchman, and complex is protected by Ukraine. I think that would be the case.
Yeah, in that case, it was most likely a very good protect. You know, your protect is good if the other team meant to ban your protect. So yeah, pretty much a good sign going for Ukraine right now. This means that is the correct strategy.
I'm so confused right now. Peru's protecting Jumpstream pick, and Peru's banning the same Jumpstream pick. I'm
I don't
so
think that's
confused.
allowed, by the way. I
how do you
and-
how do you protect the ban pick? That is the question that I have in mind right now.
Also, I am so confused.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as confused as you do. So is this just gonna be like some for gore shenanigans? Okay, they finally came to their senses now.
Yeah, imagine protecting a map and banning it afterwards. That's not allowed, by the way, but people have thought about that before, and I thought that was so funny.
What the heck? Peru, Peru is just actually gonna be reiterating their choices here, and yeah, I mean, Infinity Rage is protected pick, but SV2 is protected as well by Ukraine, so I'm not sure why it would be banned in this case.
Okay, we're gonna work our patience here. Shout out to the referees for exercising
Yeah.
their utmost patience, especially given that there are a lot of players involved in this tournament. Reminder that all of the teams involve 6 players for each country, and that's going to be a lot of people to handle in an entire tournament. I do believe that we had like maybe upwards to 700 or 800 registrations for this year, so numbers to keep in mind. Anyways, the ban is gonna go towards hybrid number 3, and I do believe that is a valid protect that was intended by the Peruvian team.
All right, so with hybrid, with MA data out of the way, and we'll see how they're gonna pick in this particular. I would probably say they're probably gonna go with protect right away. It seems like.
I'm very curious that some of the players do not seem to have the most optimal setups as well. So very curious as to how it translates on the field. And
all right, they're going to go for the liftoff. Ooh, they're
okay. We're
they're
literally going for liftoff.
Yeah,
we're lifting up.
We're starting with a liftoff. Yeah, exactly. Lift off this match, apparently.
Yep, so liftoff is going to be the court check map, and at 140 BPM, if you have a lineup that can handle 140 BPM court jacks, that's probably going to be your best bet. If you can aim for accuracy and aim for chokes on the other end, and yeah. Pretty interesting figure. That's a Peruvian pick, by the way. For some reason, I thought that Ukraine was blue. Maybe because of the flag.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, Peru has red in their flags and Ukraine has blue in their flags. So I tend to believe that Ukraine is blue and Peru is red.
I mean, that is a possibility, yeah. See, the thing is that the hard thing about liftoff isn't really about the BPM or isn't really about the patterns. I mean, the patterns itself aren't that hard either. The challenge about liftoff is about patience, because it's really about it's really dependent on how patient you are to not rush every patterns in the core jacks, and that is going to be the key for mostly all core jack picks in particular.
Yeah, I like to call it the zen of accuracy. It's like you get into a mood where the ratio is in your hands and you cannot be disturbed. It's in my experience as an accuracy player, it's kind of well, yeah. I'll just go ahead and point out the miss from Super Cats.
It's not so super anymore, but again, regardless, the accuracy is not going to be that much of an issue, although that's a miss already, which doesn't seem to be particularly a good case for Ukraine right now. Although, strong start for Peru here, looking like all 99.9 on average.
Yeah, keep in mind that, as I said, Peru has a very physical lineup, and I do believe that their strong points is going to be on straightforward rise picks like this one. Court Jack being a very straightforward skill set, Jump Stream being another one, and they protected Rise 2 for that reason. Oh, first miss going from Akani. Another miss from Misha.
Yeah, Misha is, even though the accuracy is kind of a little bit on the lower side, but again, Akani also having a bit of a trouble with a drop before that, so the accuracy is probably not gonna. It's gonna start evening out, but also Akani is increasing the accuracy dramatically, so it's going to be hard to come back even with that drop.
Yeah, right now Spooky Kraken and Supercat with very strong comebacks. 99.7 but 77 and 73 are very strong accuracies, but that's gonna go against Lalito and Henry Alex BR with close to 99.9, both of them. Very much juggernauts for their team.
Oh, and actually a drop by Lalito there. Drop by Lalito, even though it's not gonna change the lead by much, given the accuracy is already so high to begin with. And Harry Alex is actually leading the charge now with a 99, almost 99.9.
Yeah, even the third player coming from Peru is actually doing really strong, almost catching up to 99.7. But
Oh wow! Collapse on Peru there, but again, the miss was portrayed, so that's not gonna be changing too much again. And Peru's gonna be taking the first point here.
Yeah, that's kind of an unfortunate performance from Peru here. No full combos, but you gotta expect that Peru is actually capable of getting a triple FC, triple double S lineup, but this was not the run, but still looking at the ratios, you can very much see the physical advantage coming from Peru.
Yeah. It's literally a pure destruction when you compare it side by side in terms of ratio. Like the best ratio for Ukraine is like 385-3 in regards to score v2 core jacks. And then the lowest score in Peru is like 185-2. So it's really the ratio is really what's behind for Ukraine right now.
Yeah, shoutouts to Super Kraken for being the only full combo remaining in the lobby. And I don't know if that combo is something that Ukraine can bet on.
They're going with Happy Arnold for Ukraine here.
That's a very curious pick coming from an accuracy disadvantage on Rice. But as I said, they might be banking on the combo.
Yeah, this seems to be a bold choice for a pick that Ukraine is gonna go with. I'm not particularly that much of an insider that have this much of an information about Ukraine's scores here, but I feel like Happy Arnold would be the case that they are very much in line of comfortable to be able to play with this against Peru now.
Yeah, honestly, Ukraine is one of those countries where, as underdogs, people are not as familiar with Ukraine as they are with other teams like Peru. Peru has played in 4DM before and have gotten very far in that tournament, going as far as grand finals against, well, my own team. I was the captain against some of the players in the current Peruvian team as well, so I'm pretty familiar with them.
Yeah, very nice plug over there. But again, Peru's looking to probably challenge this with a swap, like one swap of a player really for post layer here and coming in instead of Lalito. I'm curious to see how they're actually going to perform it. We're literally aware that how Ukraine and Peru scores are still like in the mid game side, but it's not really spectacular. But seeing how they would struggle in terms of accuracy and while also keeping combo is also going to be the factor here.
Honestly, I'm very curious to see how this pick is going to go, because if Ukraine manages to get a point here, that's going to define their strategy going forward. But if they lose this pick and give the breakpoint away to Peru, that's probably going to be a sign for Ukraine to change strategies and go for maybe the long nodes, maybe the SVs.
Not particularly of a strong start for post layer either, on the Peruvian side.
Who the hell is this then? Arnold Schwarzenegger. Nice to meet you.
Well, I guess nice to meet you too, but again, looking at the scores so far, doesn't seem to be that much of a struggle, outside of a couple few outliers here and there with the 200 with Peru there, like post layer, for example. Although Ukraine's average accuracy is also pretty much in line on what I would expect here.
Some accuracy drops coming from Misha. Slight misaccuracies from Spooky Kraken, but the first miss is gonna go towards Misha before the first break. And oh no, Post Slayer
Oh,
dropping
wow.
a lot of accuracy before the jump stream here.
Seems to be struggling a little bit with the transition here, most like. Not necessarily the jump streams, but the transition in and out of it seems to be a struggle here. There's a couple few jump 200s here, also from Misha.
Yeah, I think Post Slayer and Misha have been trading misses here and there, and accuracies as well. Super Cat, not a trade you want to see because the combo deficit
Slayer,
is
the
going to
trade
be that bigger.
Post Slayer did try and find a trade, but again, these patterns are kind of disgusting for what it is. It's kind of like one-handed mini jack. But at this point in time, there's really not much I can say about this in terms of how the score difference lies. It's just a battle of between not really missing or you either drop a bunch of 200s in this section.
Yeah, right now in this lobby, it is a battle of survival. Just keep your combo as intact as possible. And then there's Henry Alex BR with a 99.86, just cruising. Just cruising in the map.
Yeah, two full combos to one outside of the Ukraine here. We haven't seen up to the ending of this yet because the ending is a victim of what would just happen in like Vietnam versus Thailand, where the offset makes it the lead just go poof right away to Thailand just because of that.
Yeah, I do believe that a lot of the advantage that Peru is profiting from right now, like almost 18k, a lot of it comes from Henry Alex. Just outstanding run overall.
Soul 99.86%, which seems to be the case in which the offset issue that I was talking about the ending there. Supercat did drop a 200 right over there. But regardless, it doesn't really matter because Henry Alex did get a V1SS, which is very impressive for what it is. But Peru takes a breakpoint over that.
Yeah, Henry, such a clean ratio and a V1SS, 995k. That is gonna be towards the top in terms of performance across all countries. But props to Ukraine for actually getting a pretty decent lineup for this. So that was a pretty educated pick, all things considered. We are in the single-digit grades for Ukraine, for two of the players at least, so yeah.
Alright, so we'll see how it actually pans out for Peru there. Peru has a good point advantage there to take into consideration that given how Liftoff was performing well by them, although it's just a core jack pick, it's not really that much of an indication. But we do know the ratio is going to be the difference here. So I would assuming that Infinity Rage is going to be the next pick, I feel. Given it's also their protected pick.
And I do think that's going to be a good pick on paper. However, I'm curious to see if they gonna wanna have fun with their picks since they're up 2-0, 1 breakpoint away from Ukraine. And in the meantime, the other match is still going on at Osu Live. 5-2 for Chile against China. And the next pick's gonna be back for me, 1.1 coming from Peru. Peru picking hybrid is kind of uncharacteristic, but I do think that is pretty educated because Peru also has a pretty good hold of hybrids.
Because if Peru is actually like good at like a faster paced songs like hybrids like this, question is if actually they're gonna be performing this well on for the other hybrids in this case.
Yeah, a performance on one hybrid does not necessarily mean a good performance on the other hybrids, which is why all of the hybrid picks have been pretty interesting strategy-wise, because it's not exactly a rock, paper, scissors kind of dynamic where you pick hybrid because the team is bad at, I don't know, Rice or long nose. Hybrids are very situational.
See, we're talking about almost the hybrid sled because we haven't seen like a lot of it, like kind of like the last match as well. Because you would normally see in a tiebreaker situation that one category is being left out, if anything. And I think this would be the case because I don't think these players would want to touch LNs at all. Everything has been Rise or either hybrids.
Yeah, understandable. As far as the lineups go, Ukraine is going to keep their lineup intact, but Peru is going to change two of their players. Ladito coming back for Peru and Defu coming into their first appearance in the match.
Still keeping on the well, waiting for people to ready up, and looks like it's going to be starting soon here. Probably the longest hybrid of all hybrids, I guess, in this case. Just under 3 minutes, but it's still relatively longer than most.
Yeah, when picks are coming closer to 3 minutes, it's when it becomes kind of a more consistency-based type of pick rather than just a kind of burst one-shot type of pick.
So far, this has been not that much of an issue here. Actually, Ukraine is kind of in the lead because of that miss by Peru. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in this case, Ukraine is kind of in the lead, although not by much because Misha has kind of a little bit of an act disadvantage here with a couple 200s here and there.
Yeah, we might see one miss in the beginning here, but as a reminder, this pick is almost 3 minutes long, so there's also the rest of the map to go for, and this map is very chokeable with all of the trills that you can see on screen.
Yeah, a couple 200s being dropped by Misha here and there, so the accuracy is going to drop down a little bit more than like below 99.2, although it's increasing back up, but the lead shrinking just because of that. Defu is definitely recovering his accuracy a little, although this Allen kind of an interesting in-versus release Allen section that tripped Misha like that, and of course, he's going back to Peru now.
No, Misha is having a bad day right now, well, a bad streak right now, just 2 misses in a row, lots of accuracy drop, going from 99.2 to 98.8.
Yeah, these are the only accuracies that also matter, is that Peru still has 2 FCs, which also Ukraine has 2 FCs, but the average accuracy is lower than Peru's now.
Yeah, Peru going with a 99.6 and 99.7 dynamic. Their accuracy and combo looks pretty stable. Manito just only dropping slight accuracy because of the long node releases. Defu doing their best to kind of recover from their initial miss. Doing a great job at it. Spooky Kraken just missing right now, and Misha just doing what they can to sustain this.
Oh, wow. There's a couple trades here coming out from Peru there. Defu and Lalito being missed respectively. So only one assist remaining, although, well, yeah,
What
well,
just happened?
I have no idea how this actually happened. This is just way too stupid to call it curse.
I mean, we have seen 4 misses in a span of 2 seconds. And another one.
Yeah, well, I have no idea right now because still Peru's winning by a lot, almost a lot here, like 45k. But the S is being dropped in like a span of 2 seconds after I said anything. That's just too stupid to think about.
Yeah, no, Mifa just dropping bombs on the battlefield right now. What are you doing?
I have no idea. I can't even do my job as a commentator.
It's fine. Just keep going on. 3-0 right now for Peru. It is now Ukraine's pick, and I do believe that Ukraine is gonna go with their protected SV. I think that's the next move.
That is it. They're going to see Complex here, coming from Ukraine. This is the only sensible choice because Rice doesn't work. Ellis is probably indicative of bad for me in this case, so I don't think Future E is going to be picked for Ukraine. So the only sensible choice is the SV, and there are two of them.
I'm very interested in how Ukraine is performing on the SVs, especially since, well, both of us are actually acquainted with the SV pool right now. And we've followed closely the development of this Rana 16 SV map pool, and the scaling of the scores is going to be pretty important information for us to scale the pool's coverage going forward.
Yeah. I mean, this has been like a couple of discussions like early on where this pick is it's interesting to say the least because it's not hard, but it's annoying to see it go through because of how some couple changes here and there which actually would affect how players perceive the kind of SVs in this, especially the patterns. I would say that this is actually like milder patterns than before, but it's still pretty annoying because the SV doesn't really correlate to what it is for a song as like the not a faster pace song either, so like 165 BPM, still relatively safe, but again the SVs doesn't really help too much.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of intended misdirection going into that map, and it is up to the players to deal with that misdirection. And that is the essence of this SV pick Complexa. As far as the lineups go, we see the appearance of Ars and Landersen on the Ukrainian side. Spectro coming for Peru. The line, one of the mainline SV players for Peru, with Akenyi supporting Henry, Alex BR. Henry has been playing well with the pick so far.
And yeah, the song is already ended, so it's pretty short. So I guess they would say we're starting to get it soon, with Arms actually coming for Ukraine. Interestingly enough, I've seen like Longburnsen play for SVs in qualifier. So we'll see what happens. Spectro also coming for Peru as well. Doesn't seem to be that much of a surprise either. I mean, speaking of which, I really haven't seen anyone play an SV with a mirror before, eh? So it would be kind of interesting to see if that actually happened at some point.
Yeah, honestly, mirrors are mainly counters to mind blocks for problems with specific patterns.
Oh, Peru is having a lot of trouble with 200s.
Yeah, the accuracies are not the best coming from Peru, and with a combo break coming from Henry, that kind of spells doom for Peru, right?
Oh wow, they didn't even do the jump.
Yeah, the miss just happened on the bump, on the SV bump, and you gotta believe that. Yeah.
I'm also interested about the one Allen to column 2 in some way. Like this one, I think, would be... Yeah, that one. There it goes. There's no further calculation on that. Yeah, these are not having a good time right now. Although Spectro, impressive showing, even though with still lower accuracy than ours, but it's still respectable.
Yeah, honestly, Spectre doing a very good showing for Peru right now. Us on the Ukrainian lineup, however, just leading the lobby. Very clean run.
Yeah, still really respectable accuracies across the board, even though slight struggle with Lon Brizze with the accuracy too. But at least they still learn how to read the maps, so it's pretty fitting to say the least.
But yeah, keep in mind that a bad performance on SV2 does not mean a bad performance on SV1, because if Peru intended to just concentrate all of their training focus on SV1 and just ignore SV2 as a whole, that might be a strategy to catch the breakpoint against Ukraine. Just giving them one free point here does not mean that the
What?
other point
Look at
is
this!
gonna
Look at
be...
the scores! Look at the scores for Spectre and Supercat.
No, this is a tie! This is a score tie! Yo, let's go!
But it's not tied. It's like literally 30
No.
points apart.
Wait, what? Okay, I think they caught the 200s. I think they caught the 200s on different parts of the map. So if you catch a 200 while building up the 400 combo count, then you will get a little bit of a difference in points. So that explains the slight point difference of 40.
That is insane because we haven't seen so much of a tie in the like World Cup scenario. I believe like the tie was happening on like I think it was 2019 Mania World Cup where Italy played like something like what Amor de Verao or something, played like a hybrid map, and they got exactly the same score. I think that has also happened in somewhere around there. And in 2022 there has been like a hybrid that also has a 3-point difference. This one is probably the next one, so we see Mr. Scratchman coming up here. Kinda weird.
Okay, so I'm slightly confused because the Mr. Scratchman line came from a Ukrainian player, I believe, Spooky, coming from Spooky. And I don't really know if that pick really came from Peru, so maybe something to check back from the referee. Just double check the player if they actually intended to do this pick.
Seems like they did a little bit of trolling.
Yeah, now Rise 2 is the actual pick from Peru, and that's their protect. And that makes much more sense for Peru.
Yeah, I mean, Leo probably wasn't aware of that too. So, understandably so, they're going to Infinity Rage.
So now we know that Ukraine is gonna pick SV1 for the next pick, and that is no surprise.
I mean, it would be weird. Well, it would be weird, wouldn't it, if they actually lost Complex and it's not their pick, and they're going with the other SV, which that happens to be one of their strengths, and for some reason they won. So,
I mean, I wouldn't be well. It would be a strategy if they actually focused all of their efforts into SV1. Imagine like they have a triple 990k on SV1 and they just side trade SV2 because they concentrated all of their training efforts and learning efforts on SV1. That is a valid strategy, by the way.
yeah.
But yeah, Rise number 2, we are going into 3 minutes of straight jump stream. But the jump streams are not that straightforward because it is a pattern coming from Lemon Guy, which is very musically relevant and a lot of expressivity, which means some amount of awkwardness coming from trills and so on. A lot of opportunities to choke and just dwindle your stamina away. Just a lot of concentration, lots of focus required for this map.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Infinity Rage, it's not like all straight 16 or, I mean, 1-4 jump stream, I guess, in the stamina terminology, but I feel like there's also comes in with the 1/5 stream in between of the jump stream. So there's some little bits of speed involved in here, not just the jump stream by itself.
Yeah, the way I like to describe difficulty in those seemingly straightforward picks like Gemstream and Cortex, I like to describe difficulty as transitional, because it all lies in the transitions and how you handle with the changes that are going on into the map. Because You cannot just tune your mind out of the map and get it and hope for a good performance. That is just not how this tournament works.
Although it seems like Ukraine is going toe-to-toe here with Peru here, it seems like. With a couple... Actually, not that much of an outlier, really, because the accuracies are almost reaching the same, because Pulsar missed there.
Yeah, I think the main denominator here is going to be in terms of misses and combo, because Slayer missing does tip the lead towards Ukraine. Ukraine is actually doing a good enough job in terms of accuracy to be hunting behind Peru.
Seems like Peru is actually increasing their accuracy just by a little, especially with the other two players on the bottom, on the entire bottom row. They're not taking it back in accuracy because Slayer actually increasing his accuracy fairly rapidly.
Yeah, honestly, the accuracy coming from Peru is absolutely phenomenal. You know that they have at least two players capable of playing that big. It is Lalito and Henry Alex, both very strong players on such straightforward picks. You gotta believe that they trained jump stream and speed. Like, it is their workout.
I mean, I wouldn't really call it relaxing yet because there's still some streams coming up here, because and even though Super Cat missed there. And Misha, apparently, as well. I mean, the lead is kind of just really extending it forward because of the accuracy difference.
Yeah, we are past half of the map, and there is one solid minute of map remaining here, and I think that stamina is giving up on the Ukrainian side, because we see that the accuracies are coming
there he
lower.
goes.
And Postlayer as well. Postlayer is definitely gonna be the one from Peru dropping some accuracy because of kind of a stamina coming short.
Yeah, Postlayer is actually tanked a lot in accuracy at the because 99.7 to 99.3 is quite a huge hit there. Although they are taking it back still with accuracy, because the bottom row is actually really popping off.
Yeah, honestly, 10,000, 12,000 is not that much in the long run, because if you have a very big drop, that can change things. You see that it went from 12k to 16k with the unfortunate misses from Supercat at the end. If that happened from the other side like twice or 3 times, then you would definitely see an upset, but that didn't happen here.
Oh, that was actually like 8 misses just straight out of that on that one particular section, actually, because the graph kind of dipped there for Postlayer.
Yeah, maybe a lag happened, and very beautiful scores coming from Henry Alex and Lalito. Almost every 1SS coming from Lalito, and very beautiful ratio coming from Henry Alex. You gotta believe that Henry Alex has been carrying their team for pretty much all of the picks, really.
Well, except for SVs. Well,
Yeah.
in this case, it would have been obvious.
And this looks like we're going to see Mr. Scratchman, though.
That's their only shot on getting a point. out of all picks, really.
Yeah, well, if they lose this pick, it's gonna go back to Peru for the pick, and Peru knows how to get a point. And in fact, they are going for SV1, Mr. Scratchman, and I'm looking forward to see Peru's performance on SV1, see if that hypothesis of focusing all of the effort towards SV1 instead of SV2 is actually true.
Because Mr. Scratchman is a different. It's kind of different for some sort of like SVs in here, and Peru seems to have a bit of a more grasp on how the SVs will pan out here. Even though Ukraine definitely is a well-trained SV players for all of them, Spectra does seem to be in more favor of that too.
But keep in mind that Ukraine does have an SV lineup as was shown on SV2 Complexa. So I think that Ukraine did actually get their players to train both SVs. You gotta believe that Arts and Lundbergsen, who we haven't really seen on the other picks of the map, who did focus their efforts towards the SVs.
Yeah, well, seeing if we're actually gonna be starting ready soon. Although I think it might have been a swap here for Peru here.
Also reporting from the other match that is going on right now, Indonesia versus Canada. 1-1 right now, they are going to play the Orbit.
Yeah, they're going. For the first time, I've actually seen the Orbit being played because it's it's almost banned in almost almost like half of the matches we've seen. So I'm not sure why, but I would feel that it's probably a very difficult LN pick to begin with.
Yeah, honestly, all of the, I feel like all of the wild card picks from the categories have not been very kind to the teams, and that's why they've been attracting some bans. And let's see what they have in store.
Alright, we've seen all 100% apparently, except for Spectro. And almost all of them literally have a lot of issues on hacking the intro.
Yeah, however, it's just the beginning and accuracy can still be recovered, but not if Lundbergsen is missing in the beginning. Oh, trade from Akemi. And what do you know? Peru actually concentrated their efforts on SV1. That was actually true.
Oh god, okay, 460 point difference now. What is happening with this pick now? So, it's literally almost the opposite of what I thought it is. And it's now the score lead is actually going to Ukraine.
Yeah, from Spectra's miss right now. And it is actually looking very volatile because it could go the other way with Super Cat's miss right now. Yeah, this is actually looking really close between the two teams right now. This is the most challengeable point we've seen so far.
Oh my god, look at that score difference, it's just swing right back and forth.
Oh my god, that is the nature of SV picks that you see here. This is literally unpredictable.
Oh
Spectra with a miss!
Spectra actually just literally just throw the score difference right into Ukraine again.
Henry Alex with
And
the
that's
first miss,
huge.
no!
25,000 points now. It's always been like 3k, 2k points of difference. It's now really skyrocketing the difference now to Ukraine.
Yeah, Ukraine just has to hold right now. They have an almost 40k lead.
Yeah, this is looking to be Ukraine's pick here. Wow, look at that. I mean, it has been like dangerously close up to the middle point of the map, but again, they come out triumphant in that last section.
Yeah, nice team run coming from Ukraine. We've seen a fair amount of chokes so far, and kind of more chokes than on SV2, which is pretty interesting on a reading based pick like Mr. Scratchman. And I do believe that coming from Rana 32, Rana 16 with Mr. Scratchman is definitely appropriate, as we just saw. Very interesting matchup.
Now, it's not Peru's pick, so I'm not sure what they're gonna go with here.
Yeah, 2 points for Ukraine, 4 points for Peru. 2 points coming from Ukraine against Peru is very good. And yep, textbook Peru pick. They're gonna go with the remaining straightforward pick. Come inside my heart, the straightforward streams, and I do believe that's also one of the picks that Henry is good at, Lalito is good at. Might see them again.
It seems like it. Misha's coming back in for Ukraine.
Sorry for being silent. I'm just jamming to the song.
Yeah. I mean, the song itself by itself is kind of like I don't know what to call it actually, because I've never even heard this song before, but it's like there's something about it that is kind of charming in a way. But maybe it's just because it's uprated, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's kind of the Nightcore feeling, but not exactly Nightcore. Apparently, people have been telling me that this comes from TikTok, so I wouldn't be surprised if the catchy nature of that song would be attributed to that.
I mean, I don't know. I don't watch TikTok, so I
Yeah,
just
no,
have
me
no
neither,
idea.
Yeah, no, I'm not into TikTok at all. I just cannot.
Maybe it's just very popularized. I don't know, man. I don't know how people got into this and make out a chart for World Cup.
I mean, it's a very cute song.
I mean, you can make out of any cute song, and you can just make it into a chart, but not to the extent of World Cup.
Anime streams, let's go!
Henry
Okay.
though, 99.98. Just oh god. Oh wait, okay, there you go. You got good into the streams here. Misha with a very strong start this time around.
Yeah, just Ukraine holding their own actually, still keeping the triple FC with enough of the accuracy where a miss coming from the Peruvian team will matter. It's all gonna be up to Postlayer, I think, because they've been the main uncertainty coming from Peru.
Oh wow, look at that. Even the first section has been all 6 FCs. It hasn't been occurred to me that all FCs just come from this now. Although there's coming another set of streams coming out right after we get to the more of the catchy-ish chorus.
Everyone's still being
hate
consistent.
I don't like how it actually still has a hit sound of it. It just ruins everything.
Spooky Kraken with the first miss coming from Ukraine, and Lalito
Well,
trading.
That's a trading, but it's a very clean drop. I saw a Spooky Kraken drop like a 100 and a 200 after that miss.
Yeah, not a very clean miss coming from Kraken compared to Lalito, so that's definitely going to give more of an advantage towards Peru.
yeah, this is looking like to be shaping out like a really clear victory for Peru here, because I feel like the score difference is what really matters the most, even with a trade there.
Yeah, that is a very unfortunate miss coming from Henry. Henry was gonna get a very clean run, 176 300s. That would have been upwards to, I would say 995k.
Although, yeah, interestingly enough, Postler coming up with the FC instead of
The other two players who are more maintained in their accuracy, because so far Post Slayer hasn't been like kind of like the lowest score for Peru here, but now he is still showing up and he's actually kind of catching up to Lolito.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of team tournaments, because it doesn't always rely on the carry. Like, obviously Henry has been carrying all of the Rice picks, but you also have to have your second and third players on point for the picks, and Postlayer has been doing a great job of maintaining kind of the baseline, kind of the foundation of the Peruvian team here with the Blue Combo.
What is Ukraine gonna go in here? Because they're running out of options. They don't have SVs. They just have LNs or either hybrid.
No!
One of the hybrid. Oh my god.
They're trying to make them pick the tiebreaker. That it doesn't work that way.
They're just gonna go with a tiebreaker, huh? I don't know. I mean, actually.
Oh,
Interesting. I mean, they picked Happy Arnold, but not to the extent of this picking Innocent and Robo this kind, because it's very bursty and a lot of beam up patterns. Because if you miss, you get B mod.
Yeah. And I haven't seen this pick very much at all in matches, and that leads me to believe that Innocence Revolver is a very risky pick for all teams involved, and I think that in a 5-2 situation, risking is what Ukraine needs to do.
I mean, it's literally what, like, you got nothing to lose if you really don't know what you're gonna do with your other picks. But that's also spells doom if they actually did make it.
Yeah, from the past Rice picks, we've seen that Ukraine can actually hold their own in terms of accuracy. They can get good enough of an accuracy where one or two misses coming from Peru is going to tip the balance towards Ukraine and net the points. So going for the technical picks right now seems to be a good shout for Ukraine.
Alright, so we're going to be starting soon enough, and they're signaling for the MP already. This is, I guess, would be Ukraine's revelation in terms of how they're gonna go with this. If they win this pick, however, if they lose this, Peru will take this game, and Ukraine will unfortunately be knocked out, since this is also a loser's bracket match.
Just fixing some small things here. We are going to be back right now. Not missing a lot. Okay, maybe we missed a miss coming from Misha in the beginning. There was a burst in the beginning where misses could be prone. Oh, Super Cat going with another miss in the beginning. Not
Oh, wow.
for Ukraine.
Peru is just literally killing. Line 9.7 is the lowest score. Really, they really don't have a good time with timing out the bursts and all for Ukraine. 9.9, yeah, 9.9 average really.
Yeah, interesting lineup coming from Peru here. Lalito and Henry, the main the Rice hitters here, along with Akenyi. Akenyi, we have seen in a very situational way, I believe.
Yeah, I feel like Akenyi would be like the player who actually actively would play attack. Not as opposed to like straightforward because like Infinity Rage or Liftoff. I mean, I do think Akenyi played a Liftoff, I think. But even then, Lolito, with the drop, it's still higher than all of the Ukraine scores right now, except for Spooky Kraken here. It's just tying there.
Yeah, that leads me to believe that Akenyi is not necessarily a physical player compared to post player, but more of a sharpshooter. But we are coming close to the end of this map, and the end of this match. Oh my God, Akenyi, why?
Yeah, get B mod then. I suppose that's also a very good showing for Ukraine and Peru here. Congratulations to Peru for advancing forward to the quarterfinal losers bracket. They still have a life on the line, and unfortunately, Ukraine will also be knocked out.
Yes, that was a very good run coming from Ukraine. Ukraine actually qualifying and having very strong showings against the countries they faced is a very good showing for the country. So be proud, Ukrainians, be proud.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel Ukraine has been going, even though they're eliminated for being in the round of 16. It still shows that they're still very capable of playing these maps from this point forward, from this point on. And quarterfinals is going to be murderous for anyone who still barely survived into the quarterfinals level. And I'm all for it because losing team in the lose bracket is really gonna have to make sure they have a double effort in terms of playing them.
Honestly, Peru going forward to play quarterfinals is very interesting to me because the further Peru goes into the tournament, the more their potential is going to shine. So yeah, really looking forward to next week. However, this is not over. This day is not over. There's another match going on right now between Indonesia versus Canada. 3-2 right now for Indonesia. Shoutouts to my Indonesian friend Mifa right now. What do you think?
I'm not so much of a. I mean, in a way, I think a lot of people have been like asking whether I really actually actively like a supporter for them, but I'm actually kind of a nihilist because I really don't support that much of anyone. But again, I mean, please don't ever try actually acting like this because I feel like I'm really much best to be left as an observer because I really like how teams will perform and not so much of a massive supporter for all of them, but again, this is just how commentary works and I'm all for it.
Yeah, let's just keep a neutral stance as commentators, as you've said. And we'll see you on the other side, perhaps. And as for the next matches going on, then, well, you'll just have to see. Anyways, have a good one, guys.
Yeah, have a good one, and I'll be signing off for today, so see you on the other side.